Yes.
Okay. A very good morning to one and all. My name is Kalanidhi, and my co-host is Chandra Durgavajalla. He's also part of the Zoom meeting today. While I'm a journalist by profession and founder of Rice Bucket Challenge, a social initiative that is currently working to fight hunger during the Corona lockdown in Hyderabad, I also happen to be an exchange alumni, having participated in the prestigious International Visitors Leadership Program of June-July 2019. So this is my introduction. Chandra, your turn to introduce yourself.
Ma'am, I just got introduced like a few minutes back. I gave my introduction.
Okay.
Maybe we can proceed
Okay.
further actually.
All right. Thank you, Chandra.
No problem.
So Perfect 10, that's what the third episode of Heart to Heart is all about, and where we bring you face to face with Senthil Kumar. I think he goes by the name Senthil, one of the prime movers and shakers of the US Consulate, who has completed 10 years with the office. So in a 30-minute live Zoom session now, Senthil will share with us his experience of being part of the consulate's public affairs team and how it has strengthened the US India relations in this region. And of course, we will answer all our questions related to exchange programs, the past, the present, the future of Alumni Engagement. Chandra and I are part of HEART Hyderabad, the Alumni Association of the US Department of State Exchange Participants, and we will be hosting the interview. Please welcome our esteemed guest of the day, Senthil Kumar, Cultural Affairs Assistant with the US Consulate General Hyderabad. Hi Senthil, how are you doing today?
Hi Manju, I'm good. Thank you so much, folks. Good to see you all on a Saturday morning. I know tough times that many of you are staying home, but I'm so glad to be here and talk to you people about the work that I do and my journey.
Thank you so much. So like Senthil just said, today is neither Throwback Thursday nor Flashback Friday, but today is Senthil's special Saturday. It's called SSS. And so today is like, it's completely your day, Senthil, and therefore it is time to look back at your career and your life. But first, before we jump into your work accomplishments and many other things, first we thought we'll do a little bit about Senthil the person. So if you could tell us briefly about where you come from, your school, your college, maybe the family, which is such a big part of your professional milestones. And I also understand that you've been a journalist. Now that is of interest to me. So I'd like to know a bit about that, and then we move on to that.
Sure. Thanks, Manju. To start with, I was born in a town called Ramanathapuram, which is known as Ramnad in Tamil Nadu. It is, for those who know, it comes in between Madurai and your journey towards Rameshwaram. So that's where I was born. And I started my schooling in Ramanathapuram. Then I shifted to Madurai. That's my hometown, where I grew up for most part of my childhood. I did my schooling all the way up to class 12 over there. And then I joined my college in a college called Vivekananda College. It's a residential Gurukula type college. And I did my BA in history there.
Okay.
And then I moved to Pondicherry University to do my master's in history again. And that was my first experience of studying in a central university. So I kind of liked the culture, the cosmopolitan nature, people coming from different parts of the country and studying over there. So I thought, okay, I should continue studying in a central university. So I applied for Hyderabad Central University and JNU, and I got it in Hyderabad Central University. So in the year 1999, I came here to do my MPhil, and that's where I met one of our friends who is in this group right now on the full stack. I'll share more details a little later.
Okay.
And we joined, I did my MPhil in history there, and then I continued to do my PhD over there. So that's about my academics. And then Family, yes. In 2008, when I was here and working here, I got married, and I come from a joint family where when I was growing up, my family used to have around 11 people. So that's where I learned my first people skills, I would say. And extremely supportive family. My dad comes from an army background. He has served in multiple areas across the country, and he stays with us now. He's a big moral support for us. My wife, Sashikala, she's a homemaker, and she's also an MPhil in chemistry. She used to teach before our marriage, and she's looking for a right time to restart her career. And we have a daughter, Keetana. She's 11 years old, and she's in class 7. Currently going through her summer classes or online classes in the other room. So that's where the other bandwidth is being used. So that's in a nutshell about me.
Yeah, about your journalism, you were supposed to tell me about that.
Okay, yes. Journalism, when I was doing my PhD in 2005, it was, I wanted to take up some job to, support my PhD, because our fellowship was only for 2 years. Those days, there were no compulsory, all the research scholars were getting fellowships as we were getting today. Those days it wasn't there. The science students had the CSIR fellowship, and the social science and others had a UGC JRF. But those who did not have either of these two have to apply for some other scholarships, etc. So I had a fellowship that called the Indian Council for Historical Research, which ran for 2 years. But when I ran out of that 2 years, I thought, okay, I should do something to support myself. I cannot ask money from my dad. So that's when I started my first job. In 2005, I joined the New Indian Express. For those who don't know, that's where Manju works right now. The same organization that I joined as a reporter. Yes. Right. So, it was a great start, because at those days I was very passionate about some public service and writing something about public issues, etc. And my then editor, the deputy resident editor, and currently the editor, Vasu, gave me a free hand. We never had any issues covering any kind of beat. So I used to cover education, science and technology, health, and various other kind of issues, etc. So then in 2008, my family was like little worried that, because in journalism you had to go out any number of times, and even those days, since I was a bachelor, I was on the night duty most of the time, especially on Sunday. So my family was a little worried and said, nobody will give a girl to you if you have to go out in the night to do and get back at 2 o'clock or something. They were forcing me to find a same job. So that's when I shifted to a magazine called the U&I, which was then launched in Hyderabad. That's where I worked for 2 years in multiple capacities. I was doing their copies, I was doing their news pages, everything, etc. And then in 2010, I joined the consulate. And so that's the journalism career that you were asking me about.
Super.
Great, sir. Sir, now can you please tell us about your journey with the US Consulate? 2010 to 20, 10 years is a great milestone, sir. And we would like to know how the things were then, and how it is now, in what capacity you joined Consulate, what are different roles you played. For everyone's understanding, can you please tell us about your roles and responsibilities?
Sure. So in 2010, to be precise, it was Monday, April 12th. That was when I joined the consulate in Hyderabad. The consulate then was about a year old in Hyderabad. Till then, Chennai consulate was taking care of Andhra Pradesh. Then the new consulate was started here in Hyderabad, and I joined the public affairs section as cultural affairs assistant. So what does my role involve? Cultural assistant, our section's primary job is to promote better relationship between people of both the countries. Like At one level, the leaders are having the government-to-government talks are going on. Ministers meet and talk. The heads of states meet and talk. But what about people-to-people contact, like you and me? That's the work that our job involves. And we do it in multiple ways. One is through programs, and the other one is through exchanges. Programs, when I say, we do quite a lot of programs wherein which we bring in experts from US who are different subject matter experts, and we take them around to different cities and different institutions and talk to them, have an interaction with the different kind of audiences on various topics, etc. The topics are mutually beneficial and interesting for both the countries. It could be US India relations, combating gender-based violence, environment or climate change, and clean energy. There are many areas. So we every year on an average we host about 10 to 15 speakers, and we take them around the different places, including outside Hyderabad to Andhra Pradesh and Odisha also. So we have done those programs, and we continue to do those programs. So that's one. And then we also have our own funded programs wherein which we give a small amount of money to organizations on projects that we wanted to work with. For example, we have at least about 5 to 6 projects currently running. One is on combating trafficking in persons. We are working with an organization called My Choices. In Andhra Pradesh, we are working in about 100 villages. And then we are also working on a project wherein which we wanted to promote social entrepreneurship among the college students. And then we are also working on another project called Safe and Respectful Workplaces in Hyderabad city. We wanted to talk to employees as well as managements about what are the rights of employees and what organizations should be doing to create safe and respectful workplaces. So those are the other type of programs that we do. And then we also do, in addition to that, our job involves working very closely with NGOs, youth organizations, government organizations. So on, like, for example, commemorating days, Earth Day or an Environment Day or World AIDS Day, etc. So there are areas on which both the countries have got their goals to achieve. So we work closely with Indian partners and Indian associations in those days also. The other aspect, moving on, is to talk about exchanges. We have, the US government runs 200 plus exchange programs across the world. That's a huge number. And in India alone, we have about 20 to 25 plus programs on an average, for which we recruit participants around the year. These programs run during different parts of the year. And in Hyderabad Consulate, I handle bulk of the exchange programs. My colleague, many of you know, Joe Christopher, he handles some other exchange programs which are meant for students from underprivileged backgrounds as well as school education. I handle those professional exchange program, academic exchange programs, and quite a lot of it. I don't want to go too much into details about those list of exchange programs. Those who wanted to know more about it can always check it out at exchanges.state.gov. You will find a list of all the US government sponsored exchange programs over there. And so our job, my other job, as I said, and for this exchanges category, our job is to recruit candidates for these programs, prepare them, share information so that they are mentally and physically prepared for the trip. And when they come back, we also engage with them. That is what comes under the alumni. When people whom we had sent on this program, I mean, I was trying to calculate the number of people in the past 10 years we would have sent. We would have sent close to 200 plus people from Hyderabad Consulate alone, from across these 3 states, on an average of 20 people on a year if we keep. The number may even go up. I don't have the exact statistics, but a conservative figure is about 200 plus people we would have sent in the last 10 years on different exchange programs. So that's my work. So my roles and responsibilities involves handling programs, handling also exchanges, and now that our alumni coordinator, we also have an exclusive person who takes care of alumni coordinator. That position is currently vacant, and I also take care of that partly. And then we also have another portfolio called the English Language Office Programs, wherein which we help in these 3 states, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Odisha, English language learning and teaching, which we do help, etc. The last thing that I do as part of my job is also about higher education collaboration and promotion, helping Indian institutions have collaborations with the US universities and stuff like that. So that's the broad spectrum of things that I do at the consulate. And it's been a great journey. In the 10 years, I've really enjoyed working over here. Many people have, asked, don't you get bored? No, we am not, because every year we get to meet fresh people, at least for these exchanges, also for the, under the programs, etc. So this new audiences and new faces and new opportunities and new challenges has been keeping us very excited about this job, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it so far.
Good to know, sir. I think we need to be collaborative and inclusive, to handle all these programs. Great to know all the details. Sir, I have a message for our listeners. Please be ready with your questions, and you can type in the chat window, and we'll be answering them or asking them on behalf of you. Okay?
Yes.
And sir, I would like to tell you that we also have Senthil sir, your colleague from Consulate, who would like to share his experience working with you. Senthil sir, please do join us.
Thanks, Chandra. It's a real pleasure. A lot of you probably do not know that Senthil and I go back a long way. He's completed 10 years here, so we've been colleagues for 10 years. I joined the consulate a year before he did, so we've been colleagues for 10 years. But I've known Senthil since 1999, and we've been friends and colleagues ever since. When we joined the University of Hyderabad for our MPhil program. And so it's been a very long journey. It's 21 years to calculate and get my math right. It's been long since I've known him as a friend and as a colleague and a professional. And for a long time, because I was one of the first people to join the public affairs section, and then Senthil joined. It was just the two of us. And thereafter the team started expanding, and both our names start with S. So even today, some of our American colleagues walk into the section, if they don't know who to call, it's Senthil or Salil, maybe they know us by faces sometimes, and then they can get confused with names. And we do a lot of similar work. He has been a great support, great backup for the work that we do every single time that I've been away. In fact, the day he joined, I was not in the consulate. I was traveling for some work, and I remember he came in, and we had what he just described as a speaker program going on, and we said, Senthil, just go and do this program. He said, I have no clue what the consulate does. I have just joined, I've just signed my papers at HR, and he sent them off on the program. So that was pretty much the way we got him included into the consulate, the public affairs family. But it's been a great 10 years, I must say. He takes care of a big chunk of what you all have been part of, which is the exchanges, and that first step is critical, because what happens in the exchange program is something that is explained in the pre-departure orientation, and we pride ourselves in the fact that we've sent a lot of our people to the US well prepared for the experience, because we've heard from other colleagues that they did not know what to expect when they arrived for the program. So that is one big component, and a lot of back-end work that happens which you are not you don't see, which includes your visa interviews, your ticketing, your accommodation, the communication that we have with Washington, our exchanges office. There's a lot of work, but apart from exchanges, we also have programs, and it's really good to have someone like Senthil who can take a lot of stress and work off when a team member is away. Like right now, you all know, you have all been familiar with Neha. Neha left us a few months ago to join another organization, and the alumni work has been split. And thank you all through heart the kind of work that you all have been doing for organizing this session. And this is really useful. This is really useful for us, for the larger alumni community, also to know what other things we do and what other exchanges that we handle. So thanks, and back to you, Manjulatha.
Thank you, Salil. You gave us an insight on how I mean, you both with similar names, you both are like peas in a pod, Senthil and Senthil, and great to know about your association with Senthil. So getting back to your work again, I mean, you did sort of touch upon like how many programs does Hyderabad office handle, but a couple of other things would be, what are the range of issues or programs the consulate has taken up in the past 10 years to promote the relationship between both the countries, and tell us how the participants' exposure and experience is being leveraged. I mean, you just said about 200 people, have gone. So maybe how do you leverage that for giving more impact back to Hyderabad or India? And later, maybe at the end of it, you can talk. Please tell us about the new programs and collaborations that are happening.
Sure. Manju, the one thing that we have done in the last 10 years is that, just like ours is a very evolving kind of a work, in the sense, oftentimes if there are issues that are hot and emerging, etc. and all, we need to adjust our works in such a way to address those kind of issues. So while we work on a wide range of issues, we also keep adding new areas and new partners and stuff, etc. So that's been a good experience for us in the last 10 years. In terms of range of issues, we work, as I said, a wide range, in the sense like people-to-people ties means we work, many times people ask us, do you work with business organizations? Yes, we do work with business organizations in helping them scale up their businesses and having partnerships and sharing information about US business opportunities, etc. And student is the other area where we work. Many students from this region want to go to US and study in the US. So we work with a lot of student higher education institutions in giving them authentic information about higher education and etc. We have an office called the US India Education Foundation, where they have an agency called Education USA, which gives authentic information for students. And in terms of other areas, we work in combating trafficking in person, combating gender-based violence, sustainable development, and business promotion. The new and hot area, I wanted to talk a little later about that, is also about Indo-Pacific area, which is now emerging as a big focus area for US and India relations, where both the governments would like to work together in doing something which is of empowering this people from this region, be it business ties or youth empowerment, women empowerment in this region, and also kind of maintaining a neutral this thing about in this area. So that's one. And in terms of exchanges, yes, sometimes as Salil mentioned, we have a wide range of exchanges that covers students, academicians, educational administrators, professionals, politicians, sports persons, and business communities, etc. And today we have, as I said, of the 200 people that a rough estimate that we can give, there are many journalists, there are many sports persons, there are many academicians, there are many entrepreneurs who have benefited through these programs. And one of the other biggest contribution that these exchange programs has brought in is the alumni community, which we are very proudly talking about, is that today, thanks to the 10 years of work that we have done in these through these exchange programs, we have a robust alumni community that is spread across the 3 states, working in diverse fields, each one doing their own best in their own fields, be it sports persons, be it politicians. When I see sometimes we have to do something about compiling the work of our alumni doing, trust me, we'll be writing all day, because I see sometimes, one of the alumni the other day I was looking at is that, in just going through the Twitter feed, I saw there are many journalists like you who are our alumni who are doing stuff. So I look at that, and then I also see the politician alumni, like people like Vivekanand, who is the Kutbulapur MLA, and there is Ajmira Rekha, who is from Khanapur. These are people, politicians who had went on our program. And then Kannababu in Andhra Pradesh, these are people who had went on this program. Politicians are also doing their work. Journalists are doing their work. And we have alumni who is currently joined today, who are doing teachers, who are themselves teachers. They are doing online virtual teaching programs, virtual teacher training programs for other colleagues, etc. So we are very proud of this alumni thing that we network that we have grown in the last 10 years. And in terms of the future looks very, very bright for this region and this community. We definitely wanted to work with our alumni and kind of encourage our role as a consulate role, and my and my team's role we wanted to be is to facilitate collaborations and partnerships between our alumni from this region as well as with the other region, from this state and other state, etc. and all, so that we can have more and more robust collaboration and networking between people of this region as well as other region. Sometimes I look at when we say Indo-Pacific, we definitely would like to see alumni from this region working from countries in the Indo-Pacific regions, alumni from that region, and coming up with programs and some kind of a communication and some kind of a networking to share best practices on both sides, etc.
Right.
So the world is big, and we are very excited that we are moving into a period where we can see more such collaborations and networks in the coming days.
Chandra?
Sir, can you please suggest us how we can build a strong and engaged alumni network? Like how we can collaborate, like how consulate can help us collaborate and build that network, sir?
Sure. So, Chandra, one thing that we've been very constantly trying to do from our first year is to promote our alumni and kind of help them to come together and do something. And we are very, very proud. One best example that's happening right now is the platform is the Heart, that we have finally managed to have a group of alumni. Whether we've been trying right from our first year. There are many other regions, many other consulates are also trying to do something similar. Pakistan has got a very strong, robust alumni network, and but they are like a huge one. They are like 60 years of alumni have come together and done a alumni network, and etc. But Heart is a big step, welcome step forward, and our aim is to see that we have more hearts emerging in regions like in Andhra Pradesh and in Odisha. In Odisha, we have a strong network of alumni, and we are really looking forward to they coming up with their own version of a Heart sometime later this year or maybe early next year. They are now trying to, after taking inspiration from what Heart Hyderabad is doing, they are trying to see if they can come up with something similar to that. So our aim is to see more hearts emerging, and then the hearts having talked to or working together. That is what we wanted to see in the coming months and years. And the potential, as I said, is very, very big. Imagine a Heart in Hyderabad and Andhra Pradesh and Odisha working together and doing programs, and having an exchange of program ideas and people talking to each other and doing things, etc. That'll be a wonderful this thing. And imagine the potential of that kind of a collaboration between people from this region and those in Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. So communication channels have made this working together a little easy, and I think as again I want to say the best is yet to come.
Great, sir. I'm assuming that you have a special place in your heart for Heart Hyderabad for sure. Okay, users, please, listeners, please, send your questions.
Chandra, actually, we've got a couple of questions. So, Senthil, are you ready for the questions?
Sure. But before I go, I also remember Chandra asked me about, how do we, how the consulate can help in terms of alumni engagement, etc. One thing that I wanted to tell all our alumni community is that the consulate, US mission is always for them. Alumni engagement is one of the top priority areas, and all the consulates in India, as well as including the one in Hyderabad, is fully committed to support our alumni in terms of this thing. So one thing that we always tell our alumni is do come up with the kind of innovative and impactful programs that align the US government goals. See, one thing that one restriction that we have is that we cannot support programs that are beyond our goals, that set goals that we have. So that makes our job little difficult. So one thing that we always tell our alumni is that if you are able to come up with a list of programs or an ideas, something that is there in the list aligning the US government goals, then definitely we will be able to support those kind of programs and stuff. The third thing that I wanted to mention is that, our consulates, our offices, we have an alumni office in DC, Office of Alumni Affairs, and also one in Delhi, and each consulate has got their own alumni coordinators, etc. And their job is to promote alumni engagement in whichever way possible. And there are many announcements that come from these alumni offices in Delhi, in DC, and in other places, etc. Do keep an eye on these kind of announcements. Some of these are opportunities for professional development. Some of them are also about funding opportunities. Some of them are also about initiatives that will facilitate collaboration between two regions and two alumni or two different set of people, etc. So these are some of the things that if this alumni community heart can keep a watch for, then we definitely have this thing. And one last thing that I would also mention is that many people, in fact, one of my colleagues mentioned just a couple of days back, she was doing some Fulbright alumni outreach where many people didn't know about the website or the alumni Facebook page, etc. And also, I think, we need to do this promotion once in a while so that to add more number of people, new people coming in every year. As I said, we are adding almost on an average about 20 to 25 people in just from this region alone. So it's always good to refresh their memory about what is the alumni all about and what are the areas that we can work with. And I think in the last meeting, both Salil, myself and Joe mentioned about coming up with a pool of ideas on these goals and pick up those ideas and see what can be worked out, etc. And so keep bouncing those ideas with us. You'll never know which one would be good for us to collaborate and work together. So that's what I wanted to talk about, how we can work or how we can help the alumni cooperation.
Right. Absolutely, Senthil. You summed it up for us. However, I think there are a couple of questions that we did get. One question is from Sandhya Volet. She says, are there any programs for entrepreneurs specifically designed for entrepreneurs? Is there something like that?
You mean an exchange program or?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, many of our exchange programs do support entrepreneurs. There are also application-based exchange programs, and some of the programs, exchange programs that we manage, are programs wherein which the consulate picks up people with whom we have already worked with. Whereas those application-based programs are available for any entrepreneur to apply and to go back. And one of the things, as I mentioned, is exchanges.state.gov gives a list of these kind of programs, including entrepreneurs, business promotion, and stuff like that. So yes, and one of our flagship exchange program is on this area is called the Fortune Women's Mentorship Program, which is where we pick up a budding entrepreneur who is somewhere in the middle of their career or their business. We send them to US, have them shadow a big business person, somebody who is in a similar line, so that they can pick up how work-life balance is being done by them and areas in which they need guidance, etc., and come back and do that. And one of the other things that we are very proud is, I think, I can see people like Hema is already here in the session. People like Hema and many similar entrepreneurs who had benefited out of these US government exchange program are always willing and open to kind of mentor and share their experience with more upcoming entrepreneurs. And they have done sessions also for young students. They are also done sessions for budding entrepreneurs, and they are always open. That's the whole idea about Heart, is that if you are in Heart, there are many entrepreneurs in Heart who can always come together to do a session for more upcoming entrepreneurs and stuff like that.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Thanks for that. The next question is.
It's sorry, go ahead.
Chandra, do you also have the questions with you? Would you like to ask the next?
Yeah, it's from Annapurni ma'am. A newsletter which posts about alumni work and the outreach programs done by the Hyderabad Consulate. Is this in the offing?
I mean, are you asking, are we going to bring out a newsletter?
I think so, yes, sir.
Yeah, I think the US Consulate. That's what.
So maybe when we have a dedicated alumni coordinator in office, probably this is an idea that we can always think about. But again, this is also a good thing, that an engagement that Heart Hyderabad can also take it up to see that, okay, I think, I've been talking to the Heart team about featuring our alumni, success stories of our alumni on the Heart Hyderabad website. And that can always become a place where alumni can go and read about alumni from Hyderabad region doing something. And frankly, I before coming to this session, I also looked at the alumni.state.gov. That's the universal global alumni community website, where you also have another alumni stories column where alumni from across the world are featured over there. There are these things. So my only request to people is that if you have something worth sharing and with the greater community, do please put in little effort to write something about it and send it to the alumni portal. And there's nothing very proud and privileged moment for us than getting our alumni featured in that website for across the world to see what our alumni are doing.
Right. Okay, I think we have about 5 minutes left, almost, I guess 35 minutes or something. Is that right, Chandra? How many minutes do we have?
I think around 5 minutes.
Around 5 minutes. So there's one more question from Geeta, which is, I want to join an outreach program. Who should I contact?
Sure. So you can write to us. One thing that we always say is that, do, as I said, do bounce your ideas with us. If there is something like, for example, if the teachers coming together and say, we would like to do a training program or a session for students or something, do write to us. We can always connect with people who are running schools, people who are associated with schools, or we can also organize a group of teachers at American Corner for you to do a professional development training workshop for teachers or anybody for that matter. And we keep doing it every year at the American Corner for teachers. So whether it's Geeta or anybody who have an idea about how they can share their experience, or they are willing to do something for a wider audience or wider community, do let us know. We can always provide a platform for you.
Great, sir. Thank you. And I see another question. I cannot see the name, but ID shows QCOMBTD. Question is, I'm a classical dancer, but not active now. Can I try and apply for the Hubert, Humphrey Fulbright scholarship?
Sure, it is open. People who had gone on our exchange programs, there is no ban in terms, actually, in applying for these programs. Application-based exchange programs are always open. You can always, after you had gone on a Fulbright, you can always apply for another program. But if you had gone on a public affairs sponsored exchange program, sending you on another exchange program through public affairs is always going to be a big challenge. It's not an easy thing. But the Hubert, Humphrey and Fulbright fellowships are more like they are vetted and they are evaluated based on the proposal that you are submitting. So if you are able to submit a strong proposal and convince the board, and yes, you will be able to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Are we done with the questions, Chandra? Do we have any other suggestions? I think a couple of them. Do you have anything here?
I think we are done, actually.
Yeah, we are done. Yeah. And I take this opportunity to also tell everybody here that, we have Heart Hyderabad has its own Facebook page and Twitter page. It's called Heart Hyderabad. So whichever medium you are comfortable with, please do connect. And if you have more questions for Senthil, like I said, I think we have a very strict time thing regime here. So please send us your questions to Heart Hyderabad with direct messages on the Twitter or on Facebook, and we will definitely send them to Senthil. So any closing remarks, Senthil, from our side? Of course, thank you for your valuable time.
Yes, I do want to mention one thing, Manju. For those who are alumni, while many people are happy about my 10 years. I'm very glad, and I feel very happy to share my 10 years of story with you all. But I also wanted to mention the fact that this 10 years it's not just my work alone, it's a teamwork, and I wanted to give due credit to my team, which ranges from Delhi to Washington to some of my colleagues who had already left the organization, but they did their bit. Especially, I'm not sure whether Neha is there today. Neha did a tremendous job of rallying the alumni for a while and doing a great programs and engagements, etc. So a big credit goes to the team. As Salil and myself, we keep discussing this. We always feel that we are a team. There is never a point that, okay, this is your job, you will do it. The designations are meant only to kind of track things, but when an opportunity comes, we have always worked as a team. So that's the how, especially an alumni community. There are many alumni who have not gone through the programs that I manage, but they are our alumni, and I'm very, very proud and happy to interact with them. We never discriminate between anybody from region or anything. In fact, we want our alumni from this region to do more and more stuff so that everybody will get their benefit, and we can, there is always, we say, there's a huge potential that is lying out there for our alumni to tap and get it, achieve themselves. So let's work together. The consulate is ever ready to support you in terms of all the programs that you have come up with, or you want to work with us. So throw those ideas, and we will let you know as soon as possible if that idea is something that we are able to work with or not. So that's a promise that we can always make over here. And thank you all again to Heart Hyderabad. As I said, for us, we keep telling that Heart Hyderabad is a dream come true for us. We've been trying this for almost now 10 years, but the 10th year, we are very happy to see an alumni association standing on its own feet and doing programs on their own. And we now, when we talk to our colleagues in Chennai and Mumbai and Kolkata and Delhi, they are always very proud when we say we have a program with Heart Hyderabad. Our Heart Hyderabad is doing something similar or something. They are very jealous and they are very envious, but we're very happy. So thank you all for all the good work that you guys have been doing. Let's keep up the good work, and many more things to come.
Thank you.
It was great having you, sir.
Yeah, I would like to end this with one very interesting caption that a radio channel used, but I would like to copy that and say, Heart Hyderabad, idi chala hot guru.
Oh, great.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye, Chandra. Thanks for hosting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senthil.
Thank you, Chandra. Thank you, Manju.
You all have a great weekend. Thank you.
And thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.